want to talk today about learning the notes on the fingerboard. This may seem as kind of an elementary lesson for some folks, but it's very important for guitar players to know the names of the notes on the fingerboard and where they are on the neck. For a couple of reasons. Number one, you want to be able to play chords in different places on the neck. You also want to be able to play scales in different areas on the neck, not just one area. And you want to be able to communicate with other musicians what key a song is in, and maybe what every one of the chords are. If you're playing a 1-4-5 in the key of G, you want to be able to say, hey, we're playing a C here, and especially if you're communicating with a bass player, you can show them where on their neck, they can play a C or something like that. Like I said, this may be very elementary for some people, but we got to start somewhere, right? So this is for maybe the beginning guitar players. One of the things that I hand out for my lessons is a basic, just kind of musical alphabet there. Maybe you can take a screenshot of this or print it out or something. I've highlighted the names of the notes on the low 6th string and the 5th string, and also highlighted the fret numbers. So you've got 3, 5, 7, 9, and 12th fret, which is where your fret markers are on most guitars. And if we look at the low 6th string, we'll just go through it real quick. We've got the E, open E. Then at the 1st fret, we've got F. At the 3rd fret, we've got G. 5th fret, A. 7th fret, B. Now we're going to go up to the 8th fret, which doesn't have a dot, but the 8th fret is where C is located. Then the 10th fret, again, doesn't have a dot, but that's where D is located. And then we've got the E on the 12th fret of the low 6th string, and then it repeats as you go up from there. So E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and E. Now when we go to the 5th string, we've got the open A, B at the 2nd fret, C at the 3rd fret, D at the 5th fret, E at the 7th fret, F at the 8th fret, again no dot. Then we've got up at the 10th fret, we've got the G, and then we go to A, again, it repeats as you're going up from there. So the reason that I like to start with the low 6th string and the 5th string is that's where most of your bar chords are located, in terms of being able to find the root and then just plug in that bar chord shape. So most people know this shape, which is referred to as like a pattern 4 or an E shape for a bar chord. E, if we play an E chord like this or like this, either way. But if we play it like this and we have this finger free, we can move that shape all up and down the neck, and I like to call it a movable shape or bar chord. So if I say, hey, play me a G, you can play a G like that, or if you know where the fifth string G is, you can plug in that bar chord. And that bar chord right there, where we're just using our 1st and 3rd finger, that's kind of like an A shape, or some people refer to that as pattern 2 shape. What I'm talking about with these shapes and patterns and everything, that's referred to as the C.A.G.E.D system. If you're not familiar with the C.A.G.E.D system, look it up. I do have another handout for that one. The C.A.G.E.D system, if you can get a screenshot, let's see here, there we go. Maybe get a screenshot of that and print it out. But the C.A.G.E.D system goes through pattern 1. We've got our roots on the 5th and 2nd string, and that's a C shape. Pattern 2 has the roots on the 5th and 3rd string. That's an A shape. Pattern 3, roots on the low 6th, the 3rd, and the 1st string, which is a G shape. Then pattern 4, roots on the 6th, 4th, and 1st string. That's our E, or pattern 4, E shape. And then pattern 5 is our D shape, which is the roots on the 4th and 2nd string. So if we look at those real quick, going through the C.A.G.E.D system, if we're in the key of C, or we start with a C chord, our roots, again, right there on the 5th string and the 2nd string. And if we go to the A shape, roots on the 5th and roots on the 3rd string. Then our G shape is kind of difficult without a capo, but if we think of our first finger as being kind of a capo-like, we can play the low part of the chord with the roots on the low 6th string, the 3rd string, and then the 1st string. So we can play just the top part of the chord if we want like that. Then we go up to the E shape, or pattern 4, which has got our roots on the low 6th string, the 4th string, and the 1st string. And then we do our D shape, maybe a little bit more like that. We've got roots on the 4th and the 2nd string. So one of the reasons why I like memorizing the notes on the low 6th string and the 5th string is because you can relate so many of these roots on the different strings on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string to where they are on the 5th and 6th string. That makes sense? So if we've got a G here, I know where the G is on the 4th string just by skipping a string and going up 2 frets. And if we've got a G here on the 4th string, then I know the 2nd string has it right there by skipping a string and going up 3 frets this time. And if we've got a G right here, I know where it is behind it, and I know where it is if you're going up the neck, right there. And then again there, and then the low 6th string also. So being able to relate the roots on the 6th and 5th string to the rest of the fingerboard, to me, is a very natural kind of progression. So memorizing these notes, not worrying about sharps and flats right now. We're just doing the notes without any sharps and flats. So E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and E. And then on the 5th string, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then again, A at the 12th fret. Memorizing those 2 strings will unlock the rest of the fingerboard to where you can play chords in any position on the guitar, and you can play your scales. Once you have your scales memorized, you can play those scales in any position on the guitar. So hope that helps you out. Again, this is a little elementary, but it's really something that can really unlock the entire guitar for you, make you a better musician, and help you communicate better with other musicians as well.